Thanks for joining us this morning. I don't know that we're going to get a great sunrise out there. I think we're going to be kind of one of those disappointing sunrises this morning. It's News Radio 1120 KPNW. Glad that you could be with us this morning as we roll through another Tuesday, also known as Lucky Number Tuesday in some parts of the country. Taking a look at the roads out there. Everything seems to be moving fairly smoothly right now as we wait for our first guest this morning, who is a law enforcement expert, the director of the Public Administration Master's Degree Program at Tarleton State University, also teaches crisis management at TSU, and has had more than 4 decades of public safety and emergency preparedness experience. It is Dr. G.M. Cox joining us on the Wake Up call this morning. Thanks for being with us, Doc. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Okay, so I guess the question here is, a lot of people are looking at what happened in Brussels and some other, terrorist attacks that have taken place in Europe, many of them train depots and the like. Just out of curiosity, when it comes to commuters here in the United States, how secure are our rail lines, whether we're talking about Amtrak or even, commuter trains, subways, say, in New York, light rail like we have in Portland, Oregon, or even the bus system?
Right. Well, we're just as vulnerable as the Europeans, maybe even more so, in that the Americans have gotten so used to just freedom and freedom of movement, speed, convenience, and nothing about security is conducive to either one of those. Excuse me. The speed is going to be reduced when you add layers of security. The good news is, I think the American the experience is we're learning from our friends in Europe and their catastrophes when it deals with these terrorist activities. So as everybody's learning, we're in a synergistic environment where what we are learning is adding to our knowledge and adding to our capabilities.
Well, even, what has happened in Europe shows that their system is vulnerable. But that said, what kind of things are they doing there that might be adaptable here without going the full TSA model where we're doing cavity searches on 90-year-old women who want to get on a Greyhound bus to go to the casino?
Well, you make a good point, and that is Americans, after 9/11 we had TSA and the increased security at airports, longer lines, tempers flared, people got very upset. Well, that's basically what's going to happen. The Europeans, on the other hand, are a little bit more accustomed to more security. I think the breakdown in Europe and breakdown anywhere typically is gathering intelligence, disseminating that intelligence to a usable source. And we in the United States have developed a great intelligence apparatus, and they're disseminating information, sharing information at all levels, and we're able to respond a little quicker. But that doesn't mean that we're not just as vulnerable. These terrorists know what our vulnerabilities are, and they're exploiting them. So we have to be ahead of them. We have to make sure that those targets are hardened to the degree that we are accept that hardening. We're just going to have to get used to, Americans are going to have to get used to the more CCTV and the public space or private space is being shrunk.
Well, you said that they're exploiting those vulnerabilities here. We have yet to have in this country, a terrorist attack on our, if you will, our rail transportation or our bus transportation system. Why do you use those words? They're exploiting it.
I speak in more of a world term.
Okay.
We being free people and people who love our freedom and travel. And the European community is part of the world community, and and law enforcement, we look at it as one big picture here. So when I say the we, I mean collectively.
Okay. Is it more difficult to protect railway transportation systems than, for instance, air traffic, other than obviously there's going to be vulnerabilities wherever you have track? Because, it's easily accessible, but talking about at least getting onto, off of trains, accessing trains, is that, is that more difficult to protect, or are we just haven't done it yet?
it does provide some challenges for law enforcement and security specialists. It's going to be expensive. There's no doubt about it. We're seeing the development of these wave sensor dogs, these dogs that have the ability to smell before you or I could ever even come close, smell the particulate that's associated with explosives. We see technology now being developed at sniffers that be able, as people go through a place, very passive security mechanisms, but it will detect an explosive presence. We're starting to see human intelligence and human interaction. I hate to use the word profiling, but one of the things that we see a lot of is people that fit a certain descriptor that can be intercepted. Just talk to, see what's going on. You're going to see a lot more of these kinds. They're using this in Europe and to great success. So we're going to have to learn how to use human intelligence, animals, and technology.
You know, that's one of the things we talked to, and this was a couple of years ago, an expert in airport and safety security in Israel. And his description of what happens if you're going into an airport in Israel is a completely different experience, and the way that security folks, I don't know, I wouldn't say, pull you out, but the way that they observe you, the way that they're watching, looking at body language, and then engagement is completely different. I mean, are you? I'm assuming you're familiar with that kind of approach.
I am. We've actually done it in the United States. The Mall of America, Minneapolis-St. Paul area has. These were all private people trained in noticing, just looking at, how many times you looked at a situation and say, well, there's something not right about that. I can't really put my finger on it. Well, they're trained to act on that. And I think as we go through and get more experience and we understand psychoneuroses and we see body language, we'll know who to interact with and we'll know what to say and how to do it. Obviously, it's a free society and people are free to move about, but I think people need to understand when you go to points of mass transit, you might have to give up a little bit of freedom so that you can secure yourself and other people, and that includes being talked to in a terminal.
Well, I mean, being talked to in a terminal, that's quite a bit different than being pulled into a room and going back to the original analogy of being given a cavity search. I mean, there's a difference between those two things, obviously. Do you think that, are we going to be ramping those things up, or is it going to take an actual attack here in the United States before we get a little more serious ramping up security on transit lines?
I hope not. I would like to believe that we're ahead of the curve. We're working at it steadily. I mean, the dogs I just mentioned, they're about 49,000. Far and away, the majority of those dogs are in the United States, not Europe. They're trying to catch up with us. So, and like you said, we've been targeted fewer than the Europeans in terms of mass transit and choke points. So I think we're doing a great job. But that's not to say, even like I say, you can be 99% effective, and that one person's going to get through and cause a great deal of death and harm. So we're constantly vigilant. I try to tell everybody the best person to take care of you is you. Use the OODA loop, which is observe, orient, decide, and act. Have a plan and execute your plan. But if you see something suspicious, report it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You kind of look at this, and I would think that, in particular, it would be the smaller, like bus depots, train depots, and the like, where you look at them, and there's no security there. It's going to be it's going to be the smaller ones, I would think, that would be the most vulnerable to that kind of attack, or at least somebody being able to get on, say, an Amtrak and doing something, hideous.
It could, and that's why I'm saying when the terrorists tend to find out what these weak points are and then they exploit them. The point is we have to be ahead of their thinking. We have to look at what's going on, and we're doing a great job of that. We're intercepting intel, constantly monitoring, so we're learning their methodologies, we're learning their modalities, and we're trying to get ahead of the curve. But, it's always going to be they're a little ahead of us because they don't have rule books to play with, and law enforcement has a constitution, and we have the Bill of Rights, and we have local and federal and state laws. All those things make us have to play by a rule book, but the terrorists and the crooks don't play by those rule books.
All right. Dr. Cox, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning.
You're welcome.
You take care. A public safety expert, Dr. G.M. Cox, joining us on the Wake Up Call, talking about, of course, the issue of security and transit. It's one of the things that I noticed we have a bus depot in downtown Corvallis, and it's right down by one of the absolute craziest little bookstores ever. Anyway, and I was coming out of the bookstore a couple of months ago, and I was just noticing, oh, there's the bus station. And people just kind of wander, milling around, and the bus pulls up, and they stow their stuff underneath it, and they hop on, and they drive off. And, you think about that, and it's like, okay, you go to a large city like, say, New York or Chicago, Boston, any of the major metropolitan areas, even Portland, and there's at least certain levels of security you go through, and look at that and go, it's not really what I would call terribly secure. I mean, if your object is to just gain access, it's like, well, okay, that's not exactly what I would call terribly secure. Anyway, that said.
By the way, we were accurate in talking about getting in position because we got a beautiful mix of orange and purple and all kinds of different hues. So if you have a moment or a deck or big picture window, you might put yourself in front of it and face eastward. It's beautiful. Cloudy and 65 today. It'll be a pretty good, pretty mild day. Preparing for 77 tomorrow. 84 degrees on Thursday. It's 11:20 KPNW, hour number 2 coming up on KPNW.
The International Champions Cup is coming this summer. Experience world-class soccer when French champions Paris Saint-Germain take on Inter Milan in a clash of 2 of the top teams in Europe. July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get your tickets now at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss this chance to see the best soccer players in the world. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan, July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get your tickets now at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss it.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word SHAPE to 313131, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text SHAPE to 313131 and get started for free right now. Again, text SHAPE to 313131.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day trial. Cancel anytime.
If you're looking for big savings from local businesses, and who isn't, check OregonEdeals.com and save hundreds on goods and services from community businesses, all at your fingertips. Go to OregonEdeals.com and save yourself some money right now.
This is your wake-up call.
Bring it down a couple of notches, because you're a little too happy.
Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. We're where we are because politicians and their economic advisors are blinded by human behavioral bias, and so can't see the way the world really functions, or why what they've done has failed so spectacularly. On the whole, human biases, like the tendency to minimize possible risks and therefore fail to recognize the very real possibility of bad outcomes, coupled with the difficulty of changing one's mind once you've settled on an idea or reason for something, makes operating in the rough and tumble of the real world rather difficult. There's also a bias against negative predictions, both by those who might voice them and people who don't want to hear them. In politics, business, and among practicing economists, there's a clear reason why you seldom, if ever, hear negative forecasts from the leaders. Here's the nugget. Negative predictions make for bad politics and marketing, and so interfere with the aspirations of leaders of all stripes, often killing careers even when they're right, let alone when they're wrong. This is not only a major part of why we're where we are, but also why, for your own economic health, you need to take in and evaluate ideas from the fringe. Some will be as bad as the garbage you're fed every day by the mainstream media. but others will be thought-provoking and have a lot of merit. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Good morning. Mix of clouds and sun today, high in the mid-60s. Cloudy and 40 tonight. That's when the heat wave hits us tomorrow. Partly cloudy and 76 degrees for the high. Thursday, a couple of clouds to go with your sunshine and a top temp of 83 degrees expected. Just in time for the weekend. It cools off. Friday night and Saturday, a 20% chance of rain. Things heating up coming up in a couple of days.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are falling in early trading, with the S&P 500 slipping for a second day from its highest levels this year. Right now, the Dow is down 102 points at 17,634. The S&P 500 is lower by 16 or 0.75% at 2051, and the Nasdaq is down 37 points at 4855. There are simmering concerns that weakness in global growth will deepen. Right now, crude oil is little changed at $35.68 a barrel. Allergan plunged 17% after the Treasury Department released rules that would limit the ability of U.S. companies to avoid paying taxes by issuing debt to their foreign parents. Those rules put a planned $160 billion merger with Pfizer in jeopardy. Elsewhere, Twitter is higher, up 2.4% after winning a deal to show Thursday night NFL games online, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Last Friday, the Media Research Center reported the Obama regime removed a video of a joint press event with the French President François Hollande and Barack Hussein. At one point, the French president had said in French, "We're also well aware that the roots of terrorism, Islamist terrorism, is in Syria and Iraq. We therefore have to act both in Syria and Iraq." Later, the White House reposted the video on its website and YouTube, but something was missing. The words Islamist terrorism were gone. The translation picked up after the words were uttered, and Hollande's words in French were also somehow muted. Naturally, many people inferred that the regime censored the phrase Islamist terrorism. After all, we know that Obama, Hillary, and many Democrats will not use those words. But the White House came up with another explanation. A White House official told the New York Post that a technical issue with the audio recording during the recording of Hollande's remarks led to a brief drop in the audio recording of the translation. So there's nothing to see here. It was just an unfortunate glitch, a snafu, a hiccup. The regime official claimed that once they were alerted to the problem, they posted an updated version of the speech, which somehow managed not to have a brief drop in the audio recording when the words Islamic terrorism were uttered. It was lucky, I guess, that the White House just happened to have an extra unglitched copy laying around. By the way, did you hear that most Americans support torture against terror suspects? Just thought I'd throw that in.
Hi, I'm Kyle Cox, founder and owner of Blindster.com. At Blindster.com, we've sold millions of blinds to hundreds of thousands of satisfied customers since 2010. Many people think it's easier and less expensive to buy blinds from a home improvement warehouse.
We needed new blinds, so I measured my windows, and my husband and I went to a store nearby. We bought some faux wood blinds right off the shelf, but when we installed them, they didn't quite fit our windows. Thankfully, I found Blindster.com. I could not believe the prices. They had custom-made blinds for less than I paid for ready-made blinds. I placed an order and my blinds arrived less than 2 weeks later. The installation was easy and they fit perfectly. I couldn't be happier.
Many people make the same mistake. Save money and have peace of mind, because Blindster guarantees your blinds will fit even if you make a mistake in measuring.
Right now, all Rush listeners receive 30% off any order. Just use the code RUSH at checkout.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Donald Trump brushing off his recent slip in the polls.
I think we're going to have a great day. I've worked hard in Wisconsin.
Primary day for both parties in Wisconsin. Fox News Radio's Jeff Manasso live in Milwaukee.
Lisa, it's decision day in what's become the crucial primary state of Wisconsin, amid tight races where Republican Ted Cruz leads Donald Trump, who's had a problem with women voters, which brought out a rare appearance here last night from Trump's wife, Melania.
No matter who you are, a man or a woman, he treats everyone equal.
And with the once unlikely candidate Bernie Sanders saying that he also expects to beat Democratic rival Hillary Clinton if voter turnout is big here, and by all indications so far, Lisa, it is.
Thanks, Jeff. Protests erupt in Europe over some high-profile people accused of being tax cheats. Fox Radio's Simon Owen, live in London.
Lisa, Iceland's Prime Minister feeling the heat. The second day of protests underway in Reykjavik after Sigmundur Gunnlaugsson was accused of hiding cash offshore. He's one of a number of world leaders linked to a massive leak of documents from a law firm in Panama. Protesters want Gunnlaugsson out.
I would like the Prime Minister to resign.
And he has attempted to dissolve Parliament today and call snap elections, but the Icelandic president blocking that move. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. North Korea out with some new videos ramping up its recent provocations.
The latest North Korean propaganda shows attacks-destroying landmarks in Seoul, South Korea, and Washington, D.C. Regional experts say the videos are in response to the annual U.S.-South Korea joint military exercises.
Fox's Rich Edson. China today banning certain trade with North Korea to come in line with new UN sanctions over recent nuclear and missile tests. After an opening sell-off on Wall Street, a triple-digit loss at the opening bell. The Dow's now down 48 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
It's finally happened. The best real estate market in a decade. Low inventory coupled with low interest rates equals top dollar for your house in today's market. If you want to sell within your time frame and get the most money possible, now is the time.
Harpo Real Estate with Keller Williams will ensure a stress-free move for you. Not all agents are the same. In fact, Eric, Jeanette, and their team outsell all other agents and teams in Lane County. Since 2009, they've helped 150 more families sell and move than the number 2 agent. The reason? Better marketing and better negotiating. And unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions. Their exclusive enhanced listing program, and if you're not happy, fire them. You are in control.
Call for a free no-pressure consultation, 541-286-3030 or at harpohomes.com. If you live in Douglas County, Harpo Real Estate can help you too. Now you have a real estate team that can get your home sold. 541-286-3030.
What's wrong on Wall Street? Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides is live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Worries once again about the global economic picture put stocks to the downside in Asia, Europe, here in the U.S. as well. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now down 57 points at 17,679. The Nasdaq down 31. The S&P 500 down 14. And this as gold and the yen moved higher. We're seeing financials under pressure. And some of the big movers, Allergan shares plummeting about 17% today as investors are betting that the deal with Pfizer could be breaking up. And Walgreens down over 2.5%, weaker profit than expected. Lisa.
Thanks, Nicole. Subway says it will post calorie counts on its menu boards, even though a federal rule is delayed again. When it does take effect, the FDA rule says food chains with at least 20 locations have to post calorie counts. Subway says they'll be posted in all 27,000 of its U.S. locations by next Monday. McDonald's blaming local sewers for the large rat seen running around on a dessert counter at one of its restaurants in Thailand. An online video from a shopping mall prompting a McDonald's apology. A spectacular finish to March Madness.
It's Page off balance. Puts it
But that three-pointer by North Carolina's Marcus Page on TBS was answered by Villanova's Chris Jenkins at the buzzer.
3 seconds to go across the timeline. 2 seconds to go. Jenkins, three, right wing to win it. He made it. He made the three from the right wing at the buzzer. Cats win it all. Cats win it all. Cats win it all.
The incredulous call on Villanova radio, first national title for the Wildcats in 31 years. Tonight, UConn and Syracuse play for the women's championship. Connecticut trying to make history with 4 in a row. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Last night's contest was incredibly close. Tonight, not so much. 11:20 KPNW, partly cloudy. Chances are pointing to 65 for the high, clear and 40 tonight. Clouds and pretty nice day, 75 degrees, 77 into the 80s the next day. Currently 42 at KPNW. And thank you, Dawn. Dawn giving us our first photo of today's go-around when it comes to sunrise. Very similar to a Kathy Hardy original. It was another one of our wake-up call photos.
I haven't received one from Bill Harsey for a while.
He must be waiting. He's going quality instead of quantity, although we're getting some great. If you have one,
yeah, feel free.
1120kpnw@gmail.com. One of our kind of turning into a little bit of a tradition, if it's especially incredible, as it was this morning with the purple and the orange. You didn't really see it over the Coburg Hills because from our vantage point, not so much. More eastward, more into the sky. It was, I'll say, spectacular. All right, coming up, we got news. What's making the newsworthy nuggets of the day?
All right, well, the city of Springfield has made a decision as to whether they were going to, outlaw panhandling from street corners with moving vehicles. We'll have that story ahead and the decision there. Also, the Lane County Sheriff's Office says they now know who it was that died in that accident near railroad tracks on Friday morning. The question still remains why that person passed. Also, your county commissioners and the sheriff going around doing a little, actually one county commissioner and the sheriff going around doing a little meet and greet with the public, talking about a variety of issues. We'll have that story, and it's pretty much official between Alaska Air and Virgin America. Those stories and more brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News time 7:07.
Ever had an Autabata experience? If that's not on your done list yet, head to Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, and enjoy an out-of-body Autabata experience. Autabata is tender choice pork steak, marinated in Burrito Amigos' special family red sauce, lightly grilled, and served in a burrito, taco, torta, or even in nachos. It's so good it'll make your tongue slap your brains out. Tempting, I know. So have an Autabata experience for lunch or dinner with Burrito Amigos. If meat's not your thing, that's okay, because you can enjoy lunch from the vegetarian menu with treats like veggie tamales, wet veggie burritos, or maybe a bueno no cheese burrito. Burrito Amigos is a great place to start the day with a breakfast burrito in junior or honkin' size with your choice of chorizo, machaca, huevos rancheros, link sausage, or bacon. Breakfast couldn't be better. Burrito Amigos with 8 locations in Eugene and Springfield. Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones and home of the Autabata experience.
Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? Then I hope you're prepared to lose 30, 40, 50% or more of your retirement savings, because it's not a question of if the market crashes again. It's a question of when. It's going to happen. Did you know there is a way you can protect and grow your wealth safely and predictably every single year? The people using this approach didn't lose a penny when the market crashed in 2000 or 2008, and they won't lose a penny in the next crash. In fact, their money will continue to grow safely year in and year out, even when stocks, real estate, and other investments tumble. A free report detailing this savings program is now available. This free report shows how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your retirement in the Wall Street casino. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement. It far outperforms any IRA or 401k. To get this free report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
You'll hear it here first. This is your wake-up call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news, live and local, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Pass the dime and pay the fine. The City Council of Springfield voted 4-1 to pass an ordinance that will fine drivers for handing money or goods out of a car at a red light. The unlawful transfer on vehicular portions of the right-of-way ordinance in Springfield will set a fine of $50 for handing money, food, or other items to panhandlers who stand at intersections looking for a handout. Councilor Sean Van Gordon didn't vote. He was absent, while Councilor Hillary Wiley voted against the ordinance. Most speakers at the meeting made the issue out to be inhumane and targeting transients. However, those voting in favor claimed it was an issue of safety. The new ordinance does not outlaw panhandling, nor does it keep motorists from pulling off the road into parking lots to give out items. The law will also effectively put an end to the Fill the Boot fundraiser, where firefighters ask for roadside cash donations for charities. Other cities around the state, including Roseburg and Cottage Grove, have passed similar ordinances. The Lane County Sheriff's Office has released the identity of an 18-year-old who died Friday after falling off a train. Investigators say the deceased is Connor James, a U of O student from Salem. The U of O confirmed that James was a student at the university. Police were called to an area near Northwest Expressway and North Park Avenue early Friday morning after receiving a call from Union Pacific employees about a dead body near the tracks there. Sheriff's investigators say that a person matching James' description was seen hanging on the back of a train car headed north around 3 a.m. The train stopped. It was searched for the individual, but they couldn't find him. The Sheriff's Office says they don't know at this point if James had been using alcohol or other substances. Their investigation continues. Commissioner Jay Bozovich and Sheriff Byron Trapp are scheduled to have a series of town hall meetings throughout West Lane County's district for community members to attend.
We'll be talking about the return to 24-hour patrol we recently announced. And we'll be taking questions from the audience and answering whatever questions about county government or the Sheriff's Office folks have.
Commissioner Bozovich says they'll also discuss this year's budget and the results of the jail levy audit. Officials say a 44-year-old man convicted of first-degree sex abuse died in a hospital where he was taken for treatment from the state prison in Pendleton. Oregon Department of Corrections officials said in a news release that Sean McMillan was taken to a local hospital from the Eastern Oregon Correctional Institute in Pendleton Sunday afternoon. He died unexpectedly Monday morning. McMillan was sentenced to prison in August of 2015 on 5 counts of child sex abuse in Lane County. Detectives said last year they found evidence of child pornography on electronic devices and digital storage devices at McMillan's home. He pleaded guilty to those charges. His earliest release date was May 30th of 2020. Oregon State Police are investigating the cause of death. Alaska Airlines is officially getting larger. Brad Ford reports Alaska is buying Virgin America.
Alaska Airlines CEO Brad Tilden says Virgin America is a good fit for Alaska Airlines because they both believe in good customer service and operations.
By bringing them together, we're creating the premier airline for people who live anywhere on the West Coast.
The routes owned by both airlines help to fill gaps.
Together, the two airlines will fly to 114 destinations in 4 countries. And we'll be the 5th largest airline in the United States.
Alaska is buying Virgin America in a cash deal worth around $2.5 billion. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Western Oregon University announced that the university has limited its tuition increase for undergraduate residents to less than 3% for next year. This will further protect many Oregon students and families by offering a tuition grant that will fully offset the increase. President Rex Fuller said the university will fully offset the planned small tuition increase with an affordability grant for resident undergraduate students whose expected family contribution is $0. The Western Oregon University Affordability Grant is the latest action by the university to try and keep the cost of its undergraduate education programs as low as possible. In 2007, the university created the innovative Western Tuition Promise, which allows students to select the tuition plan that best meets their needs. And in 2011, the university started a textbook rental program that saves students $500,000 a year in course material costs. Well, last week, the Nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Office released a report revealing the 2015 through 17 Democrat-approved budget only dedicated about 10% of Oregon's all-funds biennial budget to K-12 education. Republican Representative Tim Knopp and fellow Republicans are attacking Democratic leadership over the funding, despite a 7.3% increase in the total budget over the last biennium and claims by Democrats that funding education is their top priority. The Senate Republicans said in a news release that this new report shows education spending falls far below other priorities like administrative costs and retirement benefits for state employees. Also, the Republicans said 1/3 of those other funds currently go to pay for PERS liabilities, which Democrats, they say, have failed to address in recent legislative sessions. Other non-discretionary funds include federal funds tied to specific programs, such as the recent expansion of Obamacare that will see a 10% drop in federal support from 2017 to 2020. Two men accused of shooting and beheading a pair of bighorn sheep along a highway in northern Oregon have been arrested. The state police arrested the men after finding them near the dead sheep along Interstate 84 near Biggs Junction. Bighorn sheep are protected by law in the state, and hunters wishing to kill sheep have to win a tag in a lottery. Authorities said they found one man inside a suspicious vehicle and another hiding in the bushes. Police arrested 32-year-old Justin Samora of Layton, Utah, and 37-year-old Cody Plagman of Albany. Two professional basketball players who grew up in the Medford area have a message to Oregon voters. Brad Ford says they're working to get voters to take part in the May primary.
You're probably wondering what a couple of hoopers like us know about voting.
True, we're more about dunks and defense than elections.
Kyle and E.J. Singler are both from the Medford area, and they're teaming up with elections clerks in Deschutes and Jackson counties to encourage people to vote.
Registering is easy and quick.
You don't even have to fill out your entire ballot. Just vote on the issues or races you care about.
The Singlers volunteered their time to create the videos, which will air in Central and Southern Oregon. Kyle Singler is now a small forward for the Oklahoma City Thunder. E.J. Singler plays for the NBA's Development League.
Go to OregonVotes.gov to get registered.
I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
With the May 17th primary elections approaching, the Oregon Department of Transportation is reminding you that political signs can't be posted on any Oregon State highway right-of-way. No signs except official traffic control devices are allowed in the state highway right-of-way, and improperly placed political signs are going to be removed with notice and held at local nearby ODOT district maintenance offices for about 30 days. Signs are also prohibited on trees, utility poles, fence posts, and other natural features within the highway right-of-way. However, they are allowed on private property within view of state highways, although there are some restrictions there as well. Oregon, California, the federal government, and others have agreed to go forward with a plan to remove 4 hydroelectric dams in the Pacific Northwest without approval from a reluctant Congress. A spokesman for dam owner PacifiCorp said Monday. The dam removal is part of an announcement planned this Wednesday in Klamath, California by governors of both states and U.S. Interior Secretary Sally Jewell. The agreement keeps alive a struggling effort to broker peace in the Klamath Basin, the scene of a long-running dispute between tribes, farmers, and environmentalists over the sharing of scarce water between agriculture and fish. The plan, which aims to remove the dams in 2020, still needs approval from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. Going through FERC avoids the need for congressional approval for dam removal, which was required in earlier Klamath plans but met opposition from Republican lawmakers concerned about setting a precedent. Funding for the $450 million project will come from PacifiCorp customers in Oregon and California, along with a water bond approved by California voters 2 years ago. Well, a man with a shovel confronted a burglar in a Salem home, leading the suspect to drive away and crash into a fence, according to deputies. Marion County Sheriff's deputies responded to the home at 5:30 Monday morning and learned that a family member of the homeowners found a burglar trying to cut open a safe. The family member reportedly confronted the suspect with a shovel. The suspect took off. Deputies chased the suspect, who then crashed his pickup into a fence. 24-year-old William Fenimore of Salem was taken into custody. And the federal government has finalized a West Coast ban on new commercial fishing for forage fish. They're the small fish that bigger fish, seabirds, and marine mammals depend on for food. NOAA Fisheries say the move is needed to proactively protect the smaller fish that play a critical role in the marine food web. The ban does not affect existing fisheries for sardines, anchovies, or Pacific herring. It does cover species including Pacific sand lance, silver sides, and certain varieties of herring, smelt, and also squid. I'm Bill London. This Look at the News brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
NCAA Men's Basketball Championship took place in Houston last night, and Villanova and North Carolina involved in a title game for the ages. The Cats and the Heels shared leads and momentum shifts throughout the game, and somehow got to the point with North Carolina's Marcus Page tied it up with an off-balance three with under 5 seconds to go. It sounded like this.
They're going to have to do something from the outside now. It's Page off balance. Puts it up. How did he do that? Ties the game with 4.7 seconds to go.
So that's when Villanova went to work and changed history a couple of seconds later.
Archidiakono, 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
In addition to CBS and Jim Nance, you're listening to a good portion of the 74,000 people that were in attendance. Instead of going to overtime, Villanova with Chris Jenkins draining the three as time expired, taking the title over the favorite North Carolina Tar Heels 77-74, giving them their first title since they won it back in '85. You will definitely see that shot replayed from here on out, along with the Leitner shot, forever. Too early, maybe it's too early for preseason, but according to some polls already out, Sporting News has the Ducks 7th, Villanova 3rd, Kentucky number 1. Tonight, the women crowned a champion with UConn going for their 4th title in a row. Syracuse hoping to be spoilers. Wake Up Call Sports, live and local, brought to you by Max Muscle, the authority in sports nutrition since 1991. Across Franklin from Market of Choice. News time, 7:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Should see the sun each and every day rest of the week. Today, a high about 65 degrees with a little bit of cloudiness. Same thing for tomorrow, your Wednesday, except a little bit warmer, 76 degrees, kissing 80. We reach it on Thursday. As far as your extended forecast, looking at 70 degrees on Friday, and then the 60s with a chance of rain coming in Friday night. 20% on Saturday, 60% on Sunday.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather can cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. A number of times in previous Motivational Minutes, I've talked about paying attention to your strengths, your past successes, and the number of positive people in your life. If you do that often, then I would definitely consider you to be a successful person. And Richard Carlson once said this: it's extremely rare to find a successful person who whines, complains, and frets about his or her circumstance. Instead, they tend to focus more on their strengths and positive aspects of their lives, eliminating any time for the whining and complaining. So keep counting your strengths. Beats the whining and fretting that really does no good at all. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
I'm not a bodybuilder.
I am not an athlete.
I'm not into health clubs.
I do not eat junk food.
I am not a young man anymore.
I am exercising daily. I am feeling great. I am loving life.
I am Max Muscle. Max Muscle Sports Nutrition, Franklin Boulevard, Eugene.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797 at Jackson Jones Law.
Hi, this is Brian Sutherland, owner of Amco Transmissions in Springfield. For years, Amco in Springfield has been repairing your cars and trucks' most complicated system, the transmission. So it's no wonder people come to us with all sorts of problems. Don't take any chances. Bring your car to Amco in Springfield. We'll diagnose it right, repair it for a fair price, and back it with a nationwide warranty. Whether it's your car, truck, or motorhome, call Amco Springfield, 541-726-6824, or find us on Facebook. That's AAMCO.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is my profound pleasure to introduce
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
726 News Radio 1120 KPNW. "43 degrees as we get ready for Wave 2016. First heat wave of the year. Make sure you hydrate, get all your hats out with the big brims. Prepare, we'll all make it. We should all make it. Thursday, talking about 83 for the high, just in case you haven't heard. Coming up, we're going to talk about the minimum wage as far as being adopted. Now, it's not going to be an instantaneous thing, but kind of projected through, I think it's 2 years it's going to take before California officially everywhere it's $15.
Yep.
I wonder how many, I heard, and I wish I knew, I only heard a portion of the interview, but the person was a so-called, one of the pundits, an expert, we'll say, and they were talking about how the person who was being critical of the minimum wage really didn't know what they were talking about and was kind of, okay, I'm paraphrasing, but they were talking about how they're kind of deciding their philosophy in fear and how they were just kind of holding on to this.
Well, that's how the decision, though, was made to raise the minimum wage the way that it was. A decision made in fear. Same thing.
I mean, I think, anybody would love for people that, especially if you are, you're not a 17-year-old, wet behind the ears and you are actually, providing for your family, and maybe you have a couple of part-time jobs. Okay. I can see where it would be advantageous to you, but I wonder how many people, business owners, are already kind of sitting there doing the math, carrying the one, and thinking, okay, how many people am I going to be keeping, and how many people are going to be, and no, not being malicious, just being.
Well, I know that if
practical,
if I were faced with that particular situation, I do know that even if I was going to keep staffing the same, I would definitely be looking at those folks that were on the low end or the lower end of the output scale and deciding, do I need to fire that person and maybe hire somebody else that, because if you're going from, $9.50, $9.75 an hour to $15, I'd seriously be looking at those folks and going, okay, can I get somebody that's going to have a higher output than that person? I would think those people that are on the cusp of being okay employees, and every organization has them, where you look at them and go, yeah, we could probably do a little better there. And look at them and go, I'm going to pull the trigger on that. Because if I've got to pay somebody $15 an hour, I expect $15 an hour's worth of work, as opposed to $10 worth or barely $10 worth. Really, the flotsam and jetsam are going to get washed out. And I would also look at it this way. If I'm running a business, and let's say it's something like a McDonald's, okay? Mickey D's, Burger King, that they all hire, kids that are still in high school. They're younger. A lot of times it's their first job. Well, I can pretty much bet that if I have some oldsters that have more working experience that have applications in, I'm getting rid of the teens. What's the use of keeping them and spending the time to train them and, deal with it? They're gone. Because let's face it, if you're 16 years old, you're not worth $15 an hour. If you're flipping burgers, I'm going to find somebody that's got some work experience and somebody that actually, you don't have to train to have a work ethic.
The workforce is going to be affected. The economy is going to be affected because you're going to see prices go up to combat and just to allow for people to, stay in business.
Well, and you also have, and see, there's another reason for wanting to pass this, and that is it's also going to increase tax revenues. Why wouldn't the unions, which were behind this to begin with, why wouldn't they be in favor of it? Because that extra tax money, guess where it's going? PERS. I mean, think about it. If I'm a union and I'm sitting here looking at $20 billion of unfunded liabilities and those, by the way, tax liabilities are going to go up. What better way to raise tax revenues than take those minimum wage folks and give them an extra $6 an hour? Why wouldn't you try to do that? I mean, the unions that said, "Oh, this is all about," look, my eye. This is about protecting the kitty. This is about putting some money back in PERS. If you can't get a tax increase, all right, there's another way to go about it. It'll be interesting to see how many folks that were on, because, we've already supposedly are going to start seeing some of it, folks that were on the public dole, be it food stamps or other support, that are going to be forced off of it, and then all of a sudden they're like, but wait, you mean I have to buy my own food now? But what? So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. One of the things that I find, and I've only been able, and I think we've talked about this before, only been able to find very minimal information about it, is somebody that has actually taken a look, and when I say taken a look, I mean actually studied the effects of these increases in the minimum wage in places like SeaTac, Seattle, and also San Francisco. Now, before you start sending me a bunch of links that about how it's affected restaurants, I've already seen them. Don't bother sending them. I have seen them. I appreciate you thinking of sending them. Have already seen them. They are about the only information that anybody has done so far that has really taken a look at the effects of raising the minimum wage. And that doesn't even really come from that particular report, doesn't even come from an actual, or a group of economists. It's just, oh, well, isn't that interesting? We've lost a bunch of restaurant jobs, right, which they knew would happen. So don't bother sending that, or the story about the bookstore in San Francisco that is having to close because they can't make it. I've already seen that as well. And I sent an email to Professor Phil Romero, asking him at one point, why hasn't anybody looked at this? I remember talking to, now I can't think of his name, the guy who does the monthly index We've had him on the show. The Oregon...
Tim Dewey?
Yeah, Tim Dewey. Saw him at a lunch here, this was about a year ago, and we were talking about the increase in the minimum wage, and he said, bring it on. He said, let's see. I want to study it. I want to know, I would love to see what the effects are of this, because I'd like to see which side is right. And he could care less the effects on anything. He just wants to see the results. As you would expect somebody in his position would. They would just be curious. But at this point, he hasn't done anything about it. And I asked Professor Phil Romero over at the University of Oregon, it's like, why hasn't anybody done anything on this? And it's because nobody's paid him to do it. Why wouldn't you want to know? I mean, this is probably one of the, it is a big issue, and it's a big debate issue. And it amazes me that, because you've got a couple of areas where you could really take a look at it and kind of bear down on it, and it just surprises me that no one has gone in and comprehensively taken a look at the effects that it's had. So, anyway, I'm sure eventually somebody is going to do it. But up until now, nobody really has.
Got an email here. So how about the journeyman? You go on Craigslist. These people advertise for $15 an hour, must have tools and transportation, et cetera, et cetera. What about us, the skilled worker? I was making $35 an hour years ago.
Yeah, another thing, too, and this even more makes even more sense, is that state workers and the union workers' wages are actually tied to the minimum wage. So when the minimum wage goes up, the state workers' wages go up the same percentage. So, of course, they're going to be in favor of that. Again, why wouldn't you be? Let's see. I'm paid over $13 an hour, which means that my company is going to have to come up with more dollars because my work is physical and hard. So they try to innovate to keep it lean. Let's see. Subject line, because nobody's paid him to do it. Thank you. Just reminded me of who it was that said that. It's systematic across all areas of research. Nobody has paid them to do it. Will our military get a raise? Definitely going to try to hold you under 30 hours a week, not to not provide insurance and benefits. Yep, true that. Yeah, if you've got if you have to pay, because under Obamacare you're required, if they offer it, you're required to take it. Absolutely. Keeping workers under 30 hours so they don't have to offer them insurance, that's a way to save. Teens lose the intangible benefits of learning a good work ethic. Eventually, we all lose. I'm surprised that no one has suggested a secondary wage for teens.
I was just going to ask, is there, anybody even discussing that?
I have never seen it raised as an issue. Never.
Because what's going to happen is they're just going to get
if you're
worked out of the force because nobody wants to pay.
If you've got some initiative and you're a teen, you're going to be working under the table anyway, mowing lawns or doing whatever. So making less than that. But as far as if you're going to go to work at a grocery store, or you're going to go to work for a feed store, or you're going to go to work on a farm or wherever, there is going to be that requirement unless you're working under the table.
All right, 7:39. If you still got an email that you want to enter in, the conversation will be ongoing. 1120kpnw@gmail.com. Pausing briefly. 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. stocks are extending Monday's losses. The Dow down 56 points, the Nasdaq down 30, and the S&P down 14. The trade deficit widened to a 6-month high in February. Rising imports took the wind out of the sails of a smaller increase in exports. The trade gap grew more than 2.5% to more than $47 billion. It's a victory for lumber liquidators. A judge has tentatively dismissed claims that the company failed to adequately warn consumers about cancer-causing formaldehyde found in some of its laminate flooring. If the decision becomes final, it'll end a trial over whether the company provided clear and reasonable notice about its products' health risks. A day after announcing a successful pre-launch for its mass-market Model 3, Tesla says sales in the first quarter rose to just under 15,000. Tesla says trouble with manufacturing its SUV was due to its own hubris, adding too much new technology. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, Mike here with some info on West Eugene. Did you know there are over 400 businesses on West 6th, 7th, and 11th? Yeah, 400. And over 20 of them are all about hair. You'll find salons, spas, and barbershops. So why wait for that trim or a well-deserved makeover? Oh yeah, I know, I'm starting to look a little bit shaggy here. Time to make that appointment. And I'll look for you when you're down along West 6th, 7th, and 11th in Eugene. Go West, hairy people. Go West.
If you need to sell your home, listen up. Lars here to tell you about a real estate agent right in Lane County that takes the stress out of selling a home. I'm talking about Jeremy Parmenter of Keller Williams Realty. Jeremy has a marketing system for selling homes on a whole different level than anyone you're going to talk to in Lane County. Jeremy works with the top real estate developer in Oregon, and week after week, Jeremy attracts hundreds of buyers, which creates demand and helps your home sell fast and for top dollar. That's why Jeremy offers a home sale guarantee. If Jeremy can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agreed to, he'll buy it. Plus, it's risk-free. If he isn't doing his job after one day, you can fire him. But don't worry, you won't, because he outsells the average agent 8-1. If I needed to sell my home and lived in Lane County, I'd call up Jeremy. Call Jeremy today at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. And start packing.
You're a small to mid-sized business with 300 to 3,000 employees. You face the same network security challenges as big businesses do, but can't support a big IT investment, leaving your doors open to advanced cyber threats. Barracuda next-generation firewalls provide all the core features of enterprise firewalls and UTMs, but without hidden costs and deployment hurdles, making owning a big business firewall no big deal for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda next-gen firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-973-6563. That's 1-800-973-6563. 1-800-973-6563.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. Mix of clouds and sun today, high in the mid-60s. Cloudy and 40 tonight. That's when the heat wave hits us tomorrow. Partly cloudy and 76 degrees for the high. Thursday, a couple of clouds to go with your sunshine and a top temp of 83 degrees expected. Just in time for the weekend. It cools off. Friday night and Saturday, a 20% chance of rain. Things heating up, coming up in a couple of days.
Give us 15 minutes. We'll give you something to talk about at work. Your wake-up call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
By the way, and this is something that's going to be coming up, And it's a Lane County road closure for a while. Osta Road, which is out there by the Wildcat Creek Covered Bridge. They're going to be closing it from 8 a.m. on Monday, the 18th, until 5 p.m. on Friday, June 24th. They say that you can use Highway 126 to Richardson Road and then to Richardson Upriver Road. And they're going to be rehabilitating that covered bridge. So that's going to be coming up here, let's see, April 18th, which is what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks from yesterday. So just note that is going to be coming up here shortly. And then if you live out in that area, it's going to affect, I wouldn't imagine it's going to affect a whole lot of people, but there's going to be a few out there. Another person writes, welcome to the 28-hour work week, coming soon to an employee near you. Writes Charles this morning. We're going to be chatting in a couple of minutes here with Michael Ray Newman. He's an employment engagement expert, heads up training for Zig Ziglar International. We're going to talk a little bit about that. That, I think, is going to be the upshot for a lot of businesses, that we're offering, paid vacation, sick leave, other benefits is maybe the way that they save money is just everybody's a part-timer. Hire less full-timers, hire more part-timers, and that's the way that you're going to work it. I'm also curious to see what's going to happen and what kind of effect it's going to have on the budgets of cities and counties. Where you have any of the any of the government jobs, public jobs, is how much it's going to end up costing them and how they're going to react to those particular increases. You've got a county just up the street here, up the road in Lynn County that says, you know what, this is an unfunded mandate. We're not going to do it. I'll be fascinated to see how that lawsuit plays out. Michael Ray Newman now joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Hey, thanks for being with us, Michael Ray. We appreciate you joining us. So the deal to raise California's minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2022 was reached by Brown and state legislators there. It makes California the nation's first state to basically lift it to that level coming up here in a few years. My question here is, we've been discussing this morning. My question is a tactic for businesses that are looking at this, that are working on a margin, all right, and working on a thin margin, is the tactic going to be, all right, we're going to hire people for 28 hours a week as opposed to full-time so we can save money on insurance, retirement bennies, and paid vacations, et cetera, et cetera. Is that going to be the tactic that we're going to see rolled out to try and save money from this?
Well, I can tell you by experience that's what we are experimenting with right now. I also have several small business and one medium-sized business that has 2,500 employees. And if you really, you brought up the insurance point. This is really this minimum wage thing would be strike three for a lot of medium to small-sized companies. And let me tell you why, because back in 2008, business was really good for us. And if you think of a bucket of water, and if you had a washer rag in that water, right, you pulled, then in 2008, the crash came. So we pulled the rag out and squeezed it a little bit. It was easy to become more efficient. We said, okay, we got this, right? And then, with this year with the health care, everything going into play with health care that's mandated, we've really been wringing that rag out. And I'm telling you right now, the only thing, the good saving grace, it's levels phased in. If you were to put that $15 an hour on somebody right now, there's just not much water to get out of that rag anymore. And it would really hurt the industry. I think it would put a lot of people, it would put a lot of small business out of play.
Well, see, what I look at it and I think, okay, so let's take the established businesses out of it right now. And let's factor into it somebody that's trying to start their own business. And anybody that knows anything about starting their own business knows that generally almost 90, probably 99% of the time, you're not even, you're not even breaking even for the first couple of years. Mm-hmm. You're putting your own sweat equity into it. You've got to have, a pot to be able to draw from. And if you're hiring employees, and now all of a sudden you throw that on top of it, I mean,
well, that's a great point.
I would have to say that would be a major disincentive to somebody that's trying to start, their own business. I'm not saying that it's going to kill all small business people from trying to start a new business, but I'm going to say that it's going to make it at least more difficult if you're relying on those, lower skilled workers that, aren't, pardon me for saying so, that aren't worth $15 an hour.
Well, it's going to do a couple of things right there. That's a great point. A lot of people, it's going to discourage them even trying to break into that marketplace as a business owner, which is the backbone of what we're all about in America. Secondly, the minimum wage person, it's going to really hurt the millennials or people that are trying to break into that. Even the 16, 17-year-old kid that's trying to break in and get a job, because they're going to hire someone that's older and more established. And instead of working up the scale, and you start here, work your way up, it's not going to encourage businesses to, because I might be on a life plan to this employee. I made 15, 18. I'm on a 5-year plan to make $22 an hour. That's going to stop. So all of a sudden, people entering in the marketplace are making $15 an hour, and the guy that's been there 4 years, he's making $15, $16 an hour, and it creates a negative culture, and it just has a backlash.
What are, we have on this show, and you hear this being talked about, well, it's going to hurt small businesses. It's going to hurt the restaurant and tourism industries. It's going to, are there any, at this point in your mind, are there any, unseen things, undiscussed things that really need to be looked at in regards to this that really we're not hearing much about, sort of those unreported stories?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. When you have an employee that's healthy, and I mean healthy, I mean in all aspects, can pay his light bill, buy groceries, put food on the table, you're going to have a much happier person, and a happier person is going to come back and play it well. And I'm pretty sure every angle of this has been looked at, it seems like, with all the interviews we've done and just what you've heard. But I really think that what's being missed here is the technology piece that's going to be brought into it. It could eliminate jobs, and I'm looking already to hire a independent contractor come in and do work for us. He's going to be a U.S.-based person, but they're going to turn around and hire. This is what people aren't understanding. They're going to turn around and hire people overseas so they can fulfill that contract at that price. I think that's something that's a possibility that can be missed. I mean, technology jobs lost, and also taking stuff away from Americans overseas.
Okay, so are you talking about essentially being able to do it through telecommuting like is currently being done? Or are you talking about something where you're actually bringing or sending the jobs overseas? I'm not quite following you there.
Well, a lot of times, like right now, you could go to a fast food restaurant and you could have a kiosk.
Right.
That employee can go to a kiosk instead. So if I'm going to build technology to eliminate jobs, yeah, you understand that piece. Well, I'm going to eliminate the position by hiring a company to build the technology, and instead of having that company build the technology in the States, they're going to push it overseas. And the speaking and training industry is a $70 billion industry just in the United States. And what we have trained, it's up 20% from last year, and employee engagement, customer satisfaction, and leadership are all we've trained over the last year, because people are realizing that it's a global scale. I can buy stuff online anywhere in the world, so price is definitely an issue. But the customer service piece and being employee engaged with those customers, that's something that if we don't, local vendors are realizing that if they don't really have the top customer service for a really competitive price, they're going to lose that consumer.
Yeah, we this morning, I mean, one of the components of our conversation earlier was if you're one of those folks that are on the lower end of the productivity scale, I mean, if I'm a business owner, I'm looking at all my employees and I'm saying, okay, of these people, who is on the lowest end of the productivity scale, and those people are going to be gone, and I'm going to be looking to hire somebody to replace them. If I got to pay $15 an hour, I want somebody that's producing $15 an hour.
You're exactly right. That person better get on and get out. That's what's really important for business owners, to really put their focus on employee training, being able to educate that person, and really they're going to find out real quick if you can't do it, you might be out because there's somebody else to take your place for that price.
All right, Michael Ray, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. We appreciate it.
Sounds great, brother. Call me if you need me.
Okay, sounds good. You take care, Michael Ray. Michael Ray Newman on the Wake Up Call this morning. I like him. 754 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's locally supported by Mitsubishi Electric. So their Mitsubishi Electric factory-trained technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
For the all-new John Deere riding mowers, tractors, and side-by-sides, think Ramsey Waite.
Make tracks to Ramsey Waite for John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers.
There's nothing like a John Deere Gator utility vehicle. From hardworking and trail-ready to the ultimate in work capability. Get into a Gator now at Ramsey Waite.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Waite.
Open Monday through Saturday. Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood. Online at RamseyWaite.com.
It's finally happened. The best real estate market in a decade. Low inventory coupled with low interest rates equals top dollar for your house in today's market. If you want to sell within your time frame and get the most money possible, now is the time.
Harpole Real Estate with Keller Williams will ensure a stress-free move for you. Not all agents are the same. In fact, Eric, Jeanette, and their team outsell all other agents and teams in Lane County. Since 2009, they've helped 150 more families sell and move than the number 2 agent. The reason? Better marketing and better negotiating. And unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions. Their exclusive enhanced listing program, and if you're not happy, fire them. You are in control.
Call for a free no-pressure consultation, 541-286-3030 or at harpolehomes.com. If you live in Douglas County, Harpole Real Estate can help you too. Now you have a real estate team that can get your home sold. 541-286-3030.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. We're where we are because politicians and their economic advisors are blinded by human behavioral bias and so can't see the way the world really functions, or why what they've done has failed so spectacularly. On the whole, human biases like the tendency to minimize possible risks and therefore fail to recognize the very real possibility of bad outcomes, coupled with the difficulty of changing one's mind once you've settled on an idea or reason for something, makes operating in the rough and tumble of the real world rather difficult. There's also a bias against negative predictions, both by those who might voice them and people who don't want to hear them. In politics, business, and among practicing economists, there's a clear reason why you seldom, if ever, hear negative forecasts from the leaders. Here's the nugget. Negative predictions make for bad politics and marketing, and so interfere with the aspirations of leaders of all stripes, often killing careers even when they're right, let alone when they're wrong. This is not only a major part of why we're where we are, but also why for your own economic health, you need to take in and evaluate ideas from the fringe. Some will be as bad as the garbage you're fed every day by the mainstream media, but others will be thought-provoking and have a lot of merit. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
It's the first ever Spring Fling Sale. A chance to do your Mother's Day shopping early. Saturday and Sunday, April 9th and 10th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Happening at the Vets Club Building, 1626 Willamette Street in Eugene. Scentsy, Mary Kay, Tupperware, Party Light, Happy Hour Home Party, and 31 gifts, just a few of the names that will be on hand. Plus a silent auction and much, much more. It's a benefit happening April 9th and 10th for the U of O ROTC Scholarship Fund. Get ready for the first ever Spring Fling Sale.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are still in the red, but they've trimmed earlier losses. The Dow down 77 points, the Nasdaq down 27, and the S&P down 15, after a report showed service industry growth picked up steam for the first time in 5 months. Stock in biotech giant Allergan, maker of drugs including Botox and Restasis, is falling sharply. This follows new rules unveiled by the U.S. government aimed at curtailing the frequency of tax inversion deals. Allergan operates in New Jersey, but its home address in Ireland is where the corporate tax rate is 12.5% instead of 35% here. Now Allergan's plan to merge with Pfizer so it too can be headquartered in Ireland is in question because of the new rules. Allergan shares are down more than 16%. Olive Garden was a busy place in the opening months of the year. Darden Restaurants credits strong sales at its flagship chain with providing a substantial quarterly boost. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Wisconsin voters are at the polls, and this Donald Trump supporter likes exactly what opponents don't like.
I don't know, his attitude, I guess. I don't know. You know, just the way he comes across and, you know, making changes and something different.
But Trump's no longer the front runner in recent Wisconsin polls. Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso live in Milwaukee.
Lisa, it's Ted Cruz who leads Wisconsin polls ahead of today's now crucial primary amid tight races on both sides, with Cruz hoping to slow Donald Trump's momentum in the delegate lead.
It's one thing to yell and scream and curse, but I think the people of Wisconsin are saying, do you have an answer? Do you have an answer to the problem?
Cruz on Trump here in Milwaukee yesterday, though the GOP frontrunner has predicted a win with the same record turnout that's expected that Bernie Sanders says will give him a victory over Democratic rival Hillary Clinton. Lisa.
Jeff, a top State Department official just denying reports the Obama administration might allow Iran access to the U.S. financial system or transactions in U.S. dollars since Congress isn't lifting sanctions. Renewed warnings at a separate Capitol Hill hearing about Chinese hacking.
We continue to see them engage in activity directed against U.S. companies.
NSA Chief Admiral Michael Rogers says the question is whether they're sharing that information with Chinese companies. Can a state claim the Bible as its official state book? Lawmakers in Tennessee are trying. Fox Radio's Eben Brown with this live.
And Lisa, the state Senate in Tennessee votes with bipartisan support to make the Bible the official state book, but Republican Governor Bill Haslam has not yet said if he would sign it. He's hinted in the past he's opposing it. The state attorney general raises constitutionality questions as to whether or not making the Bible would be considered an endorsement of a specific religion. The ACLU says it marginalizes non-biblical Tennesseans. The bill's supporters say it would only recognize the Bible's cultural impact on Tennessee. Lisa.
Thanks, Eben. Fair and balanced.
Here's an idea. Instead of waiting for your boss to give you a raise, give yourself one by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans. You could add hundreds of dollars each month to your bottom line, like a boss. Call 800-QUICKEN today or visit us online at QuickenLoans.com. A Quicken Loans refinance gives you the financial power to enhance your life and pursue your passion. Our passion is client service. Here's the proof. For 6 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN and buy in. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
ISIS posting what's believed to be a new video.
In the video by the Islamic militants, ISIS suggesting it could carry out more violence in the West. The group naming Berlin, Rome, and London as possible targets. A member of ISIS speaking English in the video saying if it was Paris yesterday and today Brussels, Allah knows where it will be tomorrow.
Fox Radio's Jessica Gallagher. Missouri's settlement with the Justice Department on the line as voters head to the polls in Ferguson.
Ferguson voters are considering a pair of tax increases that would help pay for implementing the deal struck after the shooting death of Michael Brown. The Justice Department sought changes as a result of its investigation that uncovered racial bias in the town's criminal justice system. The mayor of Ferguson says the deal will cost the city more than $2 million over a 3-year period, and that sales and property taxes need to go up to cover the expense. Brown was 18, black, and unarmed when he was shot during a confrontation with a white officer. The incident helped spur the national Black Lives Matter movement. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Federal investigators probing the crash of a sightseeing helicopter near Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Sevier County resident Sean Mattern saw the fiery aftermath.
I was in my house and I heard a big explosion. Me and my neighbor both did. We ran outside and we saw that the helicopter crash more or less was on the ground already. And we saw then we heard a second explosion. Then we saw the pilot roll out and burning alive. You know, it was sad.
Authorities say the pilot and all 4 passengers died in the crash. No one on the ground was injured, but firefighters had to battle a mountain blaze sparked by the crash.
Fox's Jonathan Seri. Late word that PayPal is canceling a nearly $4 million investment in North Carolina over a new state limit on local anti-discrimination laws. Wall Street a sell-off for now. The Dow is down 106 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
8:05, 11:20, KPNW with the wake-up call all over Tuesday. Today, April 5th. A little bit of cloud cover, 65 for the top 10, heading into the 70s and 80s the next corresponding days. Currently 49 degrees at KPNW. Okay, so here's the deal. Tonight, Chef's Night Out. The ultimate event if you are a foodie, love the beverages, you have a little bit of a sweet tooth. The Holt Center lobby is filled. You can't get any more food and drink in there. But we can get you in there. We need 2 contestants. Let's do, let's see, callers 1 and 2 at this point right now. You'll be going for early admission passes, okay? It's happening tonight. So if you can't go tonight, don't call and try to win the tickets because that's going to ruin it for somebody else that can go. Event starts at, it starts for everybody else at 6:30. You'll be getting in about a half hour early so you can peruse and kind of pick out and check out everything that is Chef's Night Out before everybody else comes in. 2 tickets. We need, let's see, callers 1 and 2. Contestant number 1 is who? What is your name?
Hello.
Michael.
Michael.
Yeah.
Hi.
All right, Michael, your contestant. Maybe turn down your radio a little bit. That might help.
Okay.
Going against 2, contestant number 2.
DJ.
DJ, how are you doing this morning?
Not too damn bad.
All right. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, this is going to be quite the contest.
Okay.
So here's the way this works. When you think you know the answer, you shout out your name. That will be your official buzzer. So, Michael, you would shout, Michael! And DJ, you would just shout, DJ! Or D or J or whatever.
I don't know if I'm playing against him or not.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. All right. Best of 3, okay? Best of 3.
Best of 3?
Whoever gets in question number 1,
okay.
Whoever gets the most popular, you would win over somebody, name the most popular soda from 2015.
Michael. There you go.
Pepsi is number 2.
Michael. DJ.
DJ, what do you think?
DJ, can you go higher?
I think I can. Probably Red Bull.
For soda? Oh, wow.
Okay. Coke.
No,
right.
Sorry.
Michael, you get the point. Coke.
Okay.
Looking for Coke, the number 1 most popular soda. Okay. We surveyed 10 people. Wow. We surveyed 10 people, and the most notable location that is known for and represents Eugene is where?
Ron Wyden. DJ.
Chime in with your name.
Pardon? DJ.
TJ.
Michael.
TJ, do you have an answer? All right, Michael.
The Holt Center. So I get the point then.
Holt Center does not didn't make the top 5. Hayward Field, Spencer Butte, and Autzen. Your top 3.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Name. This is your final question. Name an event that Food for Lane County does to raise funds and awareness for.
Chef's Night Out. DJ. Obviously.
Okay.
All right, so that means
it's a tie.
We have a tie.
Okay, well, have a tie-breaking question there, Rob.
Just because we've got to move on and have guests in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to do a best
Flip a coin.
Okay. All right. We'll flip a coin. I got one. Okay.
I'll let Michael go first.
Well, it's one and done.
Okay, so Michael, call it.
Okay, heads.
It is tails.
Congratulations.
Lord.
TJ.
All right, he's going to get some information from you. We've got news coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones here on KPNW. It's 8:09. Sometimes at the end of a long day, you don't want to go home and cook and wash dishes. You want somebody to wait on you, treat you well, and bring you something tasty. Enter Burrito Amigos, the dinner ones. Sure, you can get some burritos, but Burrito Amigos ramps it up with their specialty plates. Try a meat plate with your choice of adobada, a personal favorite, really, or shredded beef, chicken, carne asada, carnitas, or chili verde, and all of their beef certified Black Angus, the good stuff. Along with the meat of your choice, you get rice, beans with cheese, and tortillas. Maybe a taquito plate is more your style, with chicken or beef taquitos. Or for the vegetarian, try the potato taquitos. Tried them, loved them. Or go wild with the combo plate, featuring your choice of chili relleno, soft tacos, hard tacos, enchiladas, or tamales. Mix and match. Personalize it. Tamale lovers, Burrito Amigos has your palate and specialty plate covered with beef, pork, chicken, or veggie tamales. Dinner. Let Burrito Amigos do the cooking and the dishes in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan. Honestly, try the adobada.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
You probably don't think about your neck much until it hurts. With stresses such as poor posture, tension, muscle strain, or injuries from accidents or sports, it's no wonder your neck is at risk for pain and injury. The physicians at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the cause of your neck problem through a physical exam and diagnostic tests. Then, they'll determine the best course of treatment for you through improved self-care, physical therapy and exercise, medication, or surgery.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Oregon restricts hunting in spring to let animal populations recover from winter and raise their young. But spring is still a good time to get outdoors and hunt cougar, black bear, and turkey, along with a lot of small game, including coyotes and skunks. Skunks? Who wants to hunt skunks? Well, whatever you go for, check the regs first. Get your tags and head to Oak Grove Guns for your gear and ammunition. Oak Grove carries all the major brands, plus used firearms, and they take trades. Oak Grove Guns, proud to supply products to responsible gun owners.
Whether it's new or recycled office furniture, Oregon's most respected office furniture dealer is Office Furniture Direct in Portland, selling furniture throughout the state. Office Furniture Direct has clients up and down I-5 and is making trips into Eugene every month and can be your source for the best price and finest installation. Save money on quality office furniture at Office Furniture Direct at ofd-pdx.com.
Office Furniture Direct.
Today's top stories. In depth. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news, live and local, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Pass the dime and pay the fine. The City Council of Springfield voted 4-1 to pass an ordinance that will fine drivers for handing money or goods out of a car at a red light. The unlawful transfer on vehicular portions of the right-of-way ordinance in Springfield will set a fine of $50 for handing money, food, or other items to panhandlers who stand at intersections looking for a handout. Councilor Sean Van Gordon didn't vote. He was absent, while Councilor Hillary Wiley voted against the ordinance. Most speakers at the meeting made the issue out to be inhumane and targeting transients. However, those voting in favor claimed it was an issue of safety. The new ordinance does not outlaw panhandling, nor does it keep motorists from pulling off the road into parking lots to give out items. The law will also effectively put an end to the Fill the Boot fundraiser, where firefighters ask for roadside cash donations for charities. Other cities around the state, including Roseburg and Cottage Grove, have passed similar ordinances. The Lane County Sheriff's Office has released the identity of an 18-year-old who died Friday after falling off a train. Investigators say the deceased is Connor James, a U of O student from Salem. The U of O confirmed that James was a student at the university. Police were called to an area near Northwest Expressway and North Park Avenue early Friday morning after receiving a call from Union Pacific employees about a dead body near the tracks there. Sheriff's investigators say that a person matching James' description was seen hanging on the back of a train car headed north around 3 a.m. The train stopped. It was searched for the individual, but they couldn't find him. The Sheriff's Office says they don't know at this point if James had been using alcohol or other substances. Their investigation continues. Commissioner Jay Bozovich and Sheriff Byron Trapp are scheduled to have a series of town hall meetings throughout West Lane County's district for community members to attend.
We'll be talking about the return to 24-hour patrol we recently announced. And we'll be taking questions from the audience and answering whatever questions about county government or the sheriff's office folks have.
Commissioner Bozovich says they'll also discuss this year's budget and the results of the jail levy audit. Officials say a 44-year-old man convicted of first-degree sex abuse died in a hospital where he was taken for treatment from the state prison in Pendleton. Oregon Department of Corrections officials said in a news release that Sean McMillan was taken to a local hospital from the Eastern Oregon Correctional Institute in Pendleton Sunday afternoon. He died unexpectedly Monday morning. McMillan was sentenced to prison in August of 2015 on 5 counts of child sex abuse in Lane County. Detectives said last year they found evidence of child pornography on electronic devices and digital storage devices at McMillan's home. He pleaded guilty to those charges. His earliest release date was May 30th of 2020. Oregon State Police are investigating the cause of death. Alaska Airlines is officially getting larger. Brad Ford reports Alaska is buying Virgin America.
Alaska Airlines CEO Brad Tilden says Virgin America is a good fit for Alaska Airlines because they both believe in good customer service and operations.
By bringing them together, we're creating the premier airline for people who live anywhere on the West Coast.
The routes owned by both airlines help to fill gaps.
Together, the two airlines will fly to 114 destinations in 4 countries. And we'll be the 5th largest airline in the United States.
Alaska is buying Virgin America in a cash deal worth around $2.5 billion. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Western Oregon University announced that the university has limited its tuition increase for undergraduate residents to less than 3% for next year. This will further protect many Oregon students and families by offering a tuition grant that will fully offset the increase. President Rex Fuller said the university will fully offset the planned small tuition increase with an affordability grant for resident undergraduate students whose expected family contribution is $0. The Western Oregon University Affordability Grant is the latest action by the university to try and keep the cost of its undergraduate education programs as low as possible. In 2007, the university created the innovative Western Tuition Promise, which allows students to select the tuition plan that best meets their needs. And in 2011, the university started a textbook rental program that saves students $500,000 a year in course material costs. Well, last week, the Nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Office released a report revealing the 2015 through 17 Democrat-approved budget only dedicated about 10% of Oregon's all-funds biennial budget to K-12 education. Republican Representative Tim Knopp and fellow Republicans are attacking Democratic leadership over the funding. Despite a 7.3% increase in the total budget over the last biennium and claims by Democrats that funding education is their top priority, the Senate Republicans said in a news release that this new report shows education spending falls far below other priorities like administrative costs and retirement benefits for state employees. Also, the Republicans said 1/3 of those other funds currently go to pay for PERS liabilities, which Democrats, they say, have failed to address in recent legislative sessions. Other non-discretionary funds include federal funds tied to specific programs, such as the recent expansion of Obamacare that will see a 10% drop in federal support from 2017 to 2020. 2 men accused of shooting and beheading a pair of bighorn sheep along a highway in northern Oregon have been arrested. The state police arrested the men after finding them near the dead sheep along Interstate 84 near Biggs Junction. Bighorn sheep are protected by law in the state, and hunters wishing to kill sheep have to win a tag in a lottery. Authorities said they found one man inside a suspicious vehicle and another hiding in the bushes. Police arrested 32-year-old Justin Samora of Layton, Utah, and 37-year-old Cody Plagman of Albany. Two professional basketball players who grew up in the Medford area have a message to Oregon voters. Brad Ford says they're working to get voters to take part in the May primary.
You're probably wondering what a couple of hoopers like us know about voting.
True, we're more about dunks and defense than elections.
Kyle and E.J. Singler are both from the Medford area, and they're teaming up with elections clerks in Deschutes and Jackson counties to encourage people to vote.
Registering is easy and quick.
You don't even have to fill out your entire ballot. Just vote on the issues or races you care about.
The Singlers volunteered their time to create the videos, which will air in Central and Southern Oregon. Kyle Singler is now a small forward for the Oklahoma City Thunder. E.J. Singler plays for the NBA's Development League.
Go to OregonVotes.gov to get registered.
I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
With the May 17th primary elections approaching, the Oregon Department of Transportation is reminding you that political signs can't be posted on any Oregon State highway right-of-way. No signs except official traffic control devices are allowed in the state highway right-of-way, and improperly placed political signs are going to be removed with notice and held at local nearby ODOT district maintenance offices for about 30 days. Signs are also prohibited on trees, utility poles, fence posts, and other natural features within the highway right-of-way. However, they are allowed on private property within view of state highways, although there are some restrictions there as well. Oregon, California, the federal government, and others have agreed to go forward with a plan to remove 4 hydroelectric dams in the Pacific Northwest without approval from a reluctant Congress. The spokesman for dam owner PacifiCorp said Monday. The dam removal is part of an announcement planned this Wednesday in Klamath, California by governors of both states and U.S. Interior Secretary Sally Jewell. The agreement keeps alive a struggling effort to broker peace in the Klamath Basin, the scene of a long-running dispute between tribes, farmers, and environmentalists over the sharing of scarce water between agriculture and fish. The plan, which aims to remove the dams in 2020, still needs approval from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. Going through FERC avoids the need for congressional approval for dam removal, which was required in earlier Klamath plans but met opposition from Republican lawmakers concerned about setting a precedent. Funding for the $450 million project will come from PacifiCorp customers in Oregon and California, along with a water bond approved by California voters 2 years ago. Well, a man with a shovel confronted a burglar in a Salem home, leading the suspect to drive away and crash into a fence, according to deputies. Marion County Sheriff's deputies responded to the home at 5:30 Monday morning and learned that a family member of the homeowners found a burglar trying to cut open a safe. The family member reportedly confronted the suspect with a shovel. The suspect took off. Deputies chased the suspect, who then crashed his pickup into a fence. 24-year-old William Fenimore of Salem was taken into custody. And the federal government has finalized a West Coast ban on new commercial fishing for forage fish. They're the small fish that bigger fish, seabirds, and marine mammals depend on for food. NOAA Fisheries say the move is needed to proactively protect the smaller fish that play a critical role in the marine food web. The ban does not affect existing fisheries for sardines, anchovies, or Pacific herring. It does cover species including Pacific sand lance, silversides, and certain varieties of herring, smelt, and also squid. I'm Bill London. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
NCAA Men's Basketball Championship took place in Houston last night, and Villanova and North Carolina involved in a title game for the ages. The Cats and the Heels shared leads and momentum shifts and somehow got to the point with North Carolina's Marcus Page tying it up with an off-balance three, a prayer, with 4.7 seconds left in the game.
I have to do something from the outside now. It's Page off balance. Puts it. Impossible. How did he do that?
That's when Villanova went to work and changed history.
With Archie Diacono, 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
In addition to CBS and Jim Nance, you're listening to a good portion of the 74,000 people at some point with those two clips in attendance instead of going to overtime. Villanova with Chris Jenkins draining the three as time expires to take the title over the favored North Carolina Tar Heels 77-74. They won the title back in 1985. Tonight, the women crowned champion with UConn going for their 4th title in a row. Syracuse hoping to beat the spoilers. Too early for preseason, you say? Most probably. Here's one anyway. Sporting News has Oregon number 7, Villanova 3rd, Kentucky number 1. NBA, the Portland Trailblazers trying to catch Memphis for the 5th seed in the playoffs. They trailed the Grizzlies by a half game. Blazers are in Sacto tonight. Grizzlies host the Bulls. Wake Up Call Sports, live and local, brought to you by Max Muscle, the authority on sports and nutrition since 1991 across Franklin for market of choice. News time, 8:25.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. Mix of clouds and sun today, high in the mid-60s. Cloudy and 40 tonight. That's when the heat wave hits us tomorrow. Partly cloudy and 76 degrees for the high. Thursday, a couple of clouds to go with your sunshine and a top temp of 83 degrees expected. Just in time for the weekend. It cools off. Friday night and Saturday, a 20% chance of rain. Things heating up, coming up in a couple of days.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
When the sun comes out, the critters are up and moving. SM Gun Shop wants you to be ready. Get a head start on varmint season with huge savings on Black Hills 223 plus special wall-to-wall pricing. It's only at SM Gun Shop on River Road in Eugene, Lane County's most established gun store.
Max Muscle Sports Nutrition is more than a nutrition store. Tom here at Max Muscle. If you want to make changes to your overall health, lose weight, build muscle, or if you just want to feel better, stop by, talk to a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
It's spring and you're excited for that next great shooting trip. Your first stop should be Tannerite Sports Outlet in Eugene. You know Tannerite Sports Outlet's your local source for Tannerite binary rifle targets, but there's so much more. Tannerite's got reloading supplies, tactical gear, magazines, and accessories. And if ammo supplies a worry, don't, because Tannerite has bulk quantities of the most popular calibers that'll keep you shooting affordably. No question, Tannerite's the home for exploding targets. But from tactical gear to ammo, it's the Tannerite Sports Outlet just off I-5 across from LCC.
Building and home improvement supplies at garage sale prices. This weekend at the Lane County Fairgrounds, it's the Builder's Garage Sale. Located in the southwest corner, you'll find doors, windows, carpeting, tile, and lots more at garage sale prices. Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 2. Bring your truck, trailer, or moving van because it's cash and carry only. Do-it-yourselfers and bargain hunters, don't miss it. A portion of the proceeds benefits the Veterans Housing Project. The Builder's Garage Sale is presented by CD Reynolds, NBC 16, and News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Hi, Jerry, Shop Talk.
Hey, you know, in your tool department, why does Jerry's carry so many brands of cordless tools?
Good question. Let's drill down.
Okay.
It's all about selection. We carry a huge range of cordless tools in both do-it-yourself and professional grade.
Cool.
So you can carry just what you need at guaranteed low prices.
Well, that hits the right chord with me.
Great.
I need a cordless hammer.
Okay. Well, we have cordless nails here, too.
I got plenty of those.
Would you let other people order for you?
He'll have some old Viennese.
No, I won't. So why let others make decisions about your older years? Do you want your kids or perfect strangers choosing where you'll live or how your money gets spent?
No.
Go to longtermcare.gov and find your own path forward. It takes you step by step through everything you need to consider about aging and all your options. Longtermcare.gov. Plan now to stay in charge or pay later.
How about a mohawk? Very funny.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
829 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Welcome in. Live and local We always have Julie from Lucky Paws, local shelter, coming in. And before we talk about Roxy here, the extent of our puppy how's the adoption process going?
Actually, I still have him, if you can believe it, because there was a line of people who wanted him, but they all thought he was just a little lap dog, and he's not. He's got way too much energy. He's under your feet. He's out running around. He loves to be outside. And so we ended up not adopting him out.
I can't believe that.
I know.
He was awesome.
We even had people who came from Portland to see him, and she's like, "Oh, I wanted a lap dog."
Oh, they want a lap. They were thinking they were getting a lap dog.
They were thinking they were getting a lap dog. Yeah.
Oh.
He's just got too much energy.
I talked to some friends that were interested in him initially, but then they're more interested, like the Mastiff. They're looking for a larger dog.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some puppies coming up in a couple weeks, so they'll have to watch.
I can't believe that nobody adopted him. He is just like the coolest dog.
I walked in and there was a line of people. That's him. And I need a service dog. Oh, I want a lap dog. I just want a little dog that's going to sit. And I'm like, nope, not this one.
I am so
Has that
bummed
ever
about
happened
that.
where you've had a dog that has attention like that and goes over?
No, never. Especially a cute one like that.
He's adorable and funny and just has I just look at him and go, how could you not want to take him?
Well, and the sad part was we had two little, they're like, I don't know, Dachshund, Chihuahua, Terrier, 4-month-old puppies, two black little puppies, didn't get adopted. They were perfect lap dogs. They just sat around and wanted to be held, but no. Everybody wanted him as a lap dog, so...
Thank God they're not like humans where they get their feelings hurt.
Right? I know. Poor puppies.
Well, you brought a black dog in here. Black dogs, by the way, and I have 2 photos. I'm looking at Bailey and Cassidy right now. Awesome dogs.
They're the best. Exactly. It doesn't matter what color. Oh, gosh, we had people fighting over a tan-colored dog this weekend. I'm like, we have other awesome dogs. So this is Roxy, who we brought. And she is 8 years old. She's, I don't know, I'm thinking like a hound lab mix, but just the sweetest, nicest, calmest dog there is. And this poor girl was adopted out of the shelter, they said 4 years ago, and they found her as a stray, so they called the people on the microchip, and the people said they rehomed her a year ago. And they couldn't get a hold of these other people. So back to the shelter this poor dog went.
Aww.
Yeah. So, we know she's had 3 homes as of now in her life, but...
she needs a permanent home.
She needs somebody...
What's going on? The more you come in every week, the more I love and adore even more the dogs and hate the people. Like the people are just...
I know. How can you just dump your dog?
Well, I understand things pop up, but
when that shelter would have taken it back, but she was just found roaming the streets.
Right.
So she's just the sweetest dog. She's a $75 adoption fee. That covers her shots, her heartworm test, and trifexis for a month.
Trifexis?
It's a heartworm, dewormer, de-flea, de-everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a super heavy-duty, expensive flea, parasite treatment. So, but she's heartworm free. That's a big plus. We know that. She's healthy. She's ready to go.
Where'd she come from?
She came from Reading.
Yeah.
Our person, Alex, you've met her. She actually drove. They called us and asked if we would take this dog, and they drove to Medford, and so she drove to Medford yesterday to pick her up.
Oh, sort of like a hostage swap.
Yeah, they didn't want her to go into the shelter. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So the shelter, a person there actually drove her to Medford to meet us, so that we'd get her. Yeah.
When you get these dogs up from California, what process do you go through to make sure that they're not carrying some sort of California cootie virus.
Yeah. So any dog that we bring in is seen by a vet. We have a health certificate before they can even come across the border. If they have a fever or any kind of sickness at all, the health certificate is, they don't get one. They don't come. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that they're not going to get kennel cough in a couple weeks. That's just part of kennel life. But we actually have them seen and make sure they're good. They have to have their vaccines and a rabies if they're old enough to cross the border. So we have all that done.
How binding and how comprehensive is one of those health certificates that you talk about?
We have actually, it's a good question. We actually got a dog one time. There's no way it passed a health certificate. And, sometimes the people who are, this was an iffy thing. It actually came to us.
Was it scratched on a brown paper sack?
Well, it came to us through another, I'm doing air quotes, rescue. And so, I mean, sure, there's, this dog, it wasn't sick. It was old and had just physical problems. And we actually called the vet, and the vet said, that is not the dog we saw. So, little bait and switch happens. It's only happened one time. It was a Yorkie. It was the weirdest thing. So, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, these vets sign their names off. They lose their license. They're not going to lie. And they don't want sick animals coming across. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, because there are people driving out there all the time, picking up animals. We use very specific transports and ourselves. So we're careful about that. But we definitely don't want to bring in sick dogs. There's our mission and our goal is, there are so many friendly, healthy, nice dogs that need homes that are being killed in the shelters. That's who, if we can help them get a home, then we will.
So have you ever, I'm just kind of curious, like First Avenue has strays that come in there. Do you ever ask or try to get strays from First Avenue to try and rehome? We
did when we first started here back in, 08 or whenever it was. But I guess it was 2011 for Oregon. But so I have gotten some dogs from them before, and there's some people there who would work with us. It's very few. And so we kind of just stopped asking. If they call me, then we will do everything we can to help them move a dog or place it. But, it just, I mean, typically they're trying to rehome them and move them and get them out of there as well. But,
excuse my ignorance, but why would they not want to work with you and work together? Aren't you adopting out more dogs the more people you have involved?
Right. Well, and we're able to take on dogs that do have some health issues that might not get adopted from the county, but not a ton. Not
when you say not adopted from the county, meaning what?
Well, let's say they've got, simple, common things that we see in dogs that come in. They might have a hernia. They might have, little dogs have luxating patella. So
I hate that.
Yeah, their elbows pop out when they're walking. Right. So that's something when you go to adopt, you're like, oh, I don't want that. And it's an expensive surgery if they have to have surgery. Things like that. Their teeth need done. That can cost a person $600.
And so what you're saying is the county's not going to do that. They're going to put it to sleep. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I don't know that for sure. I'm sure that I know the people who I knew were trying to get them into different shelters where they had the money to help and that type of thing. But they don't work with a lot of rescues, but they do work. I know the cat rescue works with them.
Yeah. Can you get her over here, because we got people that are emailing us that's saying get her on camera.
There she is.
Oh, okay.
Look at this cute face.
Aw.
She is cute.
Good girl.
Look at her.
Look how quick she came over to say hi.
Look at that smile, too.
I know.
Can you see the smile?
Yeah.
She's such a good girl.
9 years old, so you're past, the puppy stage of her chewing everything
awesome.
up.
This dog only came in yesterday, but she was when I was trying to find a dog to come and share, everybody's like, you got to take Roxy. Her foster mom can't say enough about her. She says she's just amazing.
Roxy, obviously housebroken.
She's housebroken. She's been good with her cats, her other dogs. She had children come over. Nothing.
We need some good humans to come into her life so she can get the taste out of her mouth.
Have the last 4 or 5 years of her life be
she's in
nice.
good health. Yeah. I mean, she's in great shape. She doesn't, she's not a couch potato. She was pulling me in here.
She's a good-looking dog.
Yeah, she's got a lot of life still in her, and she looks really healthy and good to go.
Black dogs are awesome. Okay, hang on. We're part of the club.
She's awesome.
Go back, show that one again.
Oh, okay. I was just showing my black dogs.
Oh,
They're
there you
awesome.
go.
Yeah. We can have a club.
But yeah, I mean, if First Avenue's listening, we're happy to help if they want to start asking again. We haven't gotten a dog from them for about 2 years.
And you've asked.
We haven't asked lately because every time we ask, it's a no. So, they
I guess the laws down in California are different.
The laws
from
are
what I
different.
understand, that if you're a rescue and you go to a public shelter, a pound, which is kind of what First Avenue is. They call it a shelter, but really, I mean, that's the pound. They pick them up and they take them there. That they're required to, I guess in California and other states, they're required, if you go in and ask for one, they're required to turn them over, aren't they?
They are, as long as it's not an aggressive dog that's going to be dangerous, to society type of thing. But yes, if a rescue goes in, you can actually put a hold on the dog. They have to give you the dog or another rescue that's, close if they want it.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, it's such a problem. There's so many there. And honestly, the root of the problem is spay and neuter. It's that simple. I mean, why is every mix in the shelter a pit bull or a chihuahua? Get your pit bulls and chihuahuas fixed and stop letting them run around.
Yeah, stop letting them cat around.
It's like, I just don't get it. Apparently, that's what all the strays are.
Well, see, okay, now you guys, let me ask this question. Are you still doing the low-cost spay and neuter clinics? I mean, do you have another one coming up? Because have one?
For the vaccine clinics?
Yeah, at least the vaccine clinic.
So we have, my understanding is if you call Cascade and talk to them, they will see you on a Saturday. You can walk in and get a vaccine, but our vet is on maternity leave.
Oh.
And we've been trying to get another one. Mm-hmm. And so Dr. Rosen, who owns Cascade, has been trying to do it, but she has a daughter in dance who's all over the place, so she's never there on a Saturday. So that's our problem. We'd love to be.
Got it.
Yeah, it'll be back soon, hopefully.
Okay, so let's recap on the puppy that we have in the studio here,
so
the elderly puppy.
Roxy. Elderly, I mean,
8 years old.
Good looking dog. She's 8 years old. She came over because she heard her name. She looks like she's maybe a hound lab mix. Great size. She's not a huge dog. I mean, she's an awesome size.
Calm.
Very calm. Good with cats. Good with kids.
Oh, jeez.
Good with other dogs.
Go to Lucky Paws site on Facebook. It's Lucky Paws site on Facebook or luckypawssite.org. Is that your website?
Yes, that is.
Okay. And you can find out more information, contact information, and the like. Always great having you in the studio.
I think my friends are going to be twofer. WC and Christy are going to take a puppy and a mom.
Perfect.
So there you go. Yeah, we need more people like that. Good people, go get dogs.
Yes. And in case nobody heard, her adoption fee is only $75. So that,
That's a steal.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's awesome.
So folks like Pete's wife. Stable home. Pete, your wife that wants him, say $75. Now she wants him even more. We got an emailer that said, "Oh, that was a mistake for having you adjust the camera. My wife wants her." $75. That's all. Go.
She's awesome.
Go.
Yeah.
Pete's wife, if you're listening right now, great dog.
Great dog.
I feel like we're doing an auction here.
I know.
Come on down and get the dog. Anyway.
Julie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Lucky Paws with Roxy. Next up, Fred Crafts, Radio Redux.
The Bloomberg Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. U.S. stocks are falling with the S&P slipping for a second day from its highest levels of the year. The Dow down 81 points, the Nasdaq down 32, and the S&P down 15. But the losses are smaller now after the Institute for Supply Management reported the services industry picked up in February for the first time in 5 months. Ford will build its first new North American plant in 30 years in Mexico. It will produce small cars. Shares of Ford Motor Company are up slightly to $12.82. Baseball season has just begun, but Twitter is ready for some football. Making a strategic push into online programming, Twitter has won a deal to show Thursday night NFL games online. It was said to be bidding against a slate of heavyweights, including Verizon, Yahoo, and Amazon. The deal gives Twitter a key piece of content to attract mainstream users. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
For the all-new John Deere riding mowers, tractors, and side-by-sides, think Ramsey Waite.
Make tracks to Ramsey Waite for John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers.
There's nothing like a John Deere Gator utility vehicle. From hardworking and trail-ready to the ultimate in work capability, get into a Gator now at Ramsey Waite.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Waite.
Open Monday through Saturday. Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood. Online at RamseyWaite.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're self-employed and have not yet claimed your free trial of the money-saving software from QuickBooks Self-Employed, it's not too late. Our mission is to get this automatic mileage tracking and deduction maximizing software into the hands of every self-employed person in America as quickly as possible. That's why we're giving away these absolutely free trials. To get yours, text TRIAL10 to 67076.
It automatically tracks my trips and records my deductions so I can keep more of the money I make.
It's awesome. It gives me back my freedom, really.
QuickBooks Self-Employed is designed to help self-employed Americans keep more money in their pocket. And it's working. On average, subscribers identify $18,217 in potential annual deductions. And it's so easy, anyone can use it. If you haven't claimed your free trial yet, it's not too late. Text TRIAL10 to 67076. But hurry while we're still giving trials away for free. Again, text TRIAL10 to 67076. That's TRIAL10 to 67076.
This season, only T-Mobile customers get a free MLB TV premium subscription. Sign up by April 10th to catch any out-of-market game all season long. That's over 7,000 hours of baseball that will never touch your data plan, thanks to Binge On, only from T-Mobile. Sign up by April 10th at T-Mobile.com/MLB.
Sign up for MLB TV while on our network. New MLB TV premium subscribers only. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB TV for details. Binge On available to T-Mobile customers with qualifying plan. Detectable video typically streams at DVD quality. Video from participating services doesn't count against full-speed data on our U.S. network. Third-party subscription charges may apply.
It's not a team without T-shirts.
Custom T-shirts from Custom Ink are the easy way to connect any group. Our online design lab makes it simple to create a shirt design that your group will love. Or you can easily upload your own logo. Whether you need one shirt or thousands, Custom Ink can print any size order. And we know you can't wait for your new T-shirts. That's why we offer free shipping, and on-time delivery is guaranteed. Get a free price quote today at CustomInk.com.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at RamjackWest.com.
Should see the sun each and every day rest of the week. Today, a high about 65 degrees with a little bit of cloudiness. Same thing for tomorrow, your Wednesday, except a little bit warmer. 76 degrees, kissing 80. We reach it on Thursday. As far as your extended forecast, looking at 70 degrees on Friday, and then the 60s with a chance of rain coming in Friday night. 20% on Saturday, 60% on Sunday.
Wayne County.
Basically, what we're doing is using our land use law.
If you're running again, pay attention to all of your voters.
And the nation. Holloway in London. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. Hey, look who's here. It's none other than Fred Crafts. And I guess you guys have a new performance that you're going to be rolling out here, really?
This weekend.
Go figure. What is it?
It Happened One Night. One of the great classic movies of all time. Good comedy, good time.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
It's been a pleasure. Have a good day.
So is this your own rendition of the movie? Is this based on a script from an old radio show that was performed back in the day? Where does this particular rendition come from?
It Happened One Night is a 1934 motion picture, and the Lux Radio Theater did a one-hour adaptation of it in 1939, using these original stars, Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. So we're doing that script with some modifications to a couple of scenes from the movie actually put back into it, because when you reduce a 2-hour movie down to 1 hour, you lose a lot of things. So it's a fun movie. It's a screwball comedy, probably the #1 screwball comedy. It's a comedy that came at a right time for a lot of people's lives, came in the middle of the Great Depression, and so here was this bright spot in a rather gloomy world, and it was led by a couple of terrific actors, Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert, whose chemistry on screen was absolutely fabulous, although their chemistry off screen wasn't so great, apparently.
That's too bad you can't portray that somehow on stage, huh?
Next time.
Next time? Yeah.
Is Shirley playing Ellie?
Yes. Shirley Andrus will be playing Ellie Andrews, who is the runaway heiress, the runaway bride in the story, and Steve Waymeyer will do the Clark Gable role, which is Peter Warren, who is a newspaper reporter. So the whole premise is that she's, this is rather strange, she has a quickie marriage to a guy, but it never consummated, and she runs off because her father doesn't like the marriage, so she runs away. But then she decides that she needs to get back home for some reason. So she runs away in Miami, gets on a bus, and it's a long bus ride from Miami to New York City. Meantime, we've got Peter Warren, who's a newspaper reporter who he likes to party a lot, and so he doesn't do a very good job on covering stories, and he sort of gets fired, but by happenstance gets on the same bus with her, discovers who she is, and thinks he's going to get a great story. So he hangs out with her all through the story and trying to get a newspaper story out of it, but he gets a whole lot more out of it than that, and we'll leave you with that.
All right. I had a question. It's one of those things where you think of it and then it just goes, whoop.
That's okay, because I forgot the answer.
Okay. Well, that's good. Rob, bail me out here. I totally spaced on it.
Out of curiosity, has Shirley done? Has she done Redux before?
This is the first show that Shirley Andrus has done with us.
She's been in the market for years. I went to school with her at Lane.
Yeah, she at Lane with you when you were there, and she has done a lot with the Shedd Institute for the Arts and for the Eugene Concert Choir and various other shows. And she's a terrific actress. You'll see her as an actress in this show.
Very difficult, I'm sure, for you to direct, because she's such a diva.
Yeah, right. She's about as far from a diva as anybody I've ever met. She's just a wonderful performer, and most people fall in love with her singing, and in this case, I just wanted to showcase her acting ability, and she does a fabulous job. And I think the chemistry between Steve Waymeyer and Shirley Andrus is going to be a lot of fun.
How did that come to be? Did she hear that you were doing it and come and try out, or did somebody think that she was going to be perfect for the part?
Well, Shirley and I have known each other for many, 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 many years, and she's just so darn busy that it's been hard for us to get her at her show. So we finally worked it out. Actually, we booked it last summer and for the spring, and this is the one free weekend she has, so she's doing the show with us for that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I remember what I was going to ask now. You talked about this is the Lux Theater adaptation with a couple of scenes that you have added back into it. Are those scripts out there available, or are you having to sit down there at your word processor / computer / typewriter and pound out the script as you're listening to it? Where are you picking up these scripts?
Well, some of it is a little 50-50 on that. There are a number of scripts out there on the internet that you can find if you're really good at it. So people send things to us and whatnot. So we've kind of collected a library of those. And then, of course, there are the recordings from the year back in the day. Not everything was recorded or saved, so we don't have complete libraries of most of anything. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of it. Then you can sit down and transcribe it. And boy, I tell you, transcribing a 1-hour script is not a whole lot of fun.
No.
Back and forth with the words in your tape recorder and so forth. But that's what you can do. So you can expand that way and not be limited just by the scripts you have in hand. Mm-hmm. So Lux Radio Theater is a great source for us. Screen Guild Playhouse, Screen Guild Theater is another one of these kind of omnibus kind of programs that did a lot of great shows back in the day. Screen Guild was one that took this, imagine this, an hour-and-a-half movie and made it into a half-hour radio program. So they really telescoped. But in some shows that works just well. A show that we call Love Affair that we've done, which is basically the movie An Affair to Remember, actually worked really better, I thought, as a half-hour program than as it did as a long movie, because it's pretty much a one-trick pony kind of a show. Yeah. Will they, won't they? And we just kind of got to it. So there are those kinds of shows out there, and they are in the public domain for the most part because they were written as work for hire back in the day, so that we don't. And the day is, gosh, that's a long time ago now, almost a century ago for some of these stories. So we don't know who wrote them. They didn't keep track of that kind of thing, mm-hmm. and so we don't know where to go to find anybody to actually to get the rights to it or to pay to it. So we sort of go into the public domain area. So it's a very interesting area. Yeah.
Has anybody ever come up to you after a show and said, Fred, you've got to do sorry, wrong number? Or one of those. Do you get requests occasionally?
We get a lot of requests, and we welcome that. We like to hear what people want to hear. We did The Thin Man to open our season this year, and that's one that people have been requesting for a number of years. So we like to hear what they want to hear and do things for them, and so you can see that we do actually act on that.
Friday night and Sunday matinee. How do people get tickets?
People get tickets at the Holt Center box office, 541-682-5000. We're at 7:30 on Friday and 2 o'clock on Sunday at the Holt Center Soaring Theater.
Better, how are we doing on tickets?
Tickets are going quite well. There's still good seats available, but we're starting to sell up on the balcony now.
Oh, very cool.
We're pushing towards a sellout.
Happening this weekend, Radio Redux, and that is it for us. Speaking of Holt Center and the lobby, have fun there if you're headed to the Chef's Night Out happening tonight, 6:30. We'll see you tomorrow.
Built for business. Waiting. No one enjoys it. With Comcast Business, you can do less of it. Because Comcast Business Internet is up to 5 times faster than DSL from the phone company, which means less waiting for things like security backups and file downloads. Plus, it's a better value when you select the fastest plan. So do what nearly 1,000 businesses do every day and choose Comcast Business. Unless you'd prefer to wait. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add one voice line and TV for just $34.90 a month for 2 years. And ask about their low price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. That's 800-501-6000. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
The International Champions Cup is coming this summer. Experience world-class soccer when French champions Paris Saint-Germain take on Inter Milan in a clash of 2 of the top teams in Europe. July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get your tickets now at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss this chance to see the best soccer players in the world. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan, July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get your tickets now at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss it.
If you need to sell your home, listen up. Lars here to tell you about a real estate agent right in Lane County that takes the stress out of selling a home. I'm talking about Jeremy Parmenter of Keller Williams Realty. Jeremy has a marketing system for selling homes on a whole different level than anyone you're going to talk to in Lane County. Jeremy works with the top real estate developer in Oregon, and week after week, Jeremy attracts hundreds of buyers, which creates demand and helps your home sell fast and for top dollar. That's why Jeremy offers a home sale guarantee. If Jeremy can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agreed to, he'll buy it. Plus, it's risk-free. If he isn't doing his job after one day, you can fire him. But don't worry, you won't, because he outsells the average agent 8-1. If I needed to sell my home and lived in Lane County, I'd call up Jeremy. Call Jeremy today at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. And start packing.
It's spring, and you're excited for that next great shooting trip. Your first stop should be Tannerite Sports Outlet in Eugene. You know Tannerite Sports Outlet's your local source for Tannerite binary rifle targets, but there's so much more. Tannerite's got reloading supplies, tactical gear, magazines, and accessories. And if ammo supply is a worry, don't, because Tannerite has bulk quantities of the